This is Rat Pack Radio, the internet radio station that brings you everything from the top hits in music.
Hey guys, this is Bruno Mars.
Hey, it's Ole. Come on, put your pinky rings up to the moon.
To Sports Talk Radio.
With the first pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Jared Goff, quarterback, California.
We are here for you, WRPR Rat Pack Radio. Come join the pack. Download the WRP Rat Pack Radio app on Google Play, BlackBerry, and the Apple Store. If you're streaming, you can stream us on TuneIn.com, Web Radio Central, or RatPackSports.com/Rat Pack Radio.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to...
You're listening to the Rat Pack Sports Show live on Rat Pack Radio, WRPR.
It's new, it's fresh, it's a slam dunk.
The Underground, discovering hidden talent worldwide. Playing daily on Rat Pack Radio, WRPR. Come join the pack.
You're listening to Rat Pack Sports Show on WRPR Rat Pack Radio.
Blue, you're my boy! A genius. A man who has a reputation to be the best at what he does.
You see, a man has to realize his limitations. You don't know me, and you don't know what I'm capable of.
That was a heck of an effort.
This house is a prison, and the galaxy of this sucks.
You brilliant.
That is over. When I say it is over, I will massacre you.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Are you not entertained?
I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
That's how I roll.
Offensive!
Hello? You play to win the game.
There's that drive! Way back! It could be!
This is my favorite part coming up right now.
All right. Rat Pack Sports Show. We are back. We're live Sunday night. Rat Pack Sports live. Rat Pack Radio, WRPR. Streaming online, ratpacksports.com, and also the Rat Pack Radio WRPR app. We're in the building for another week. Bring you the best airs in sports talk and entertainment live here on Sunday night. Rat Pack. You can find us on Podbean, ratpacksportshow.podbean.com. You can also find us on iHeart. You can also find us on I'm drawing a blank. Multiple streaming platforms, and it's sad because the one that I'm trying to say is literally an app that I listen to all the time. iPhone users, you can find us on the TuneIn app. Android, you can download the Rat Pack Radio WRPR app. And you can also find our podcast on Spotify. So we're kind of all over the place here. Pretty soon we'll be bringing you guys some little, like, I guess, shorts or skits, so to speak, like video skits on topics, just trying to get that all set up, and then once it gets set up, we'll be ready to go. So let's get into this, man, because we got the NFL preseason, and while it is the preseason and a lot of it doesn't count, for the young players, I always say this, for the young players, it's important for them to be able to perform well in the preseason. So while a lot of people kind of brush it over, for the veterans, for me, the young guys, this is their time. So there's a lot of players fighting for position, playing time, roster spots, whether it be special teams, defense, offense, whatever the case may be. It is very important for them. So we'll get into some of the conversations, some of the chatter and stuff that is going on. William Graves be calling in. We may hear from Boss Hog Sean Naylor. We're going to talk some Bucs. We're going to get into their situation with the quarterback, because as it is every year, man, for me, I don't know why I keep doing it, but we get into these fan groups, and it's always the same people, at the beginning of every season, that always has a very strong opinion every season, and probably about 75-80% of the time, they're always wrong. But hey, they know what they're talking about. They know what they're talking about. Yeah, maybe not. So, here we go. We're gonna get into it. We got my man William Graves is on the line right now with us. What's going on, brother?
Man, nothing much, Steve-O. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Sunday night we got the Saints and Chargers game here. On the TV. New Orleans up 16-10, and that's about it there. But we had a lot of games yesterday. We had some games on Friday as well, and we're gonna get into those games here. So, but I want to start out. With a couple things here, Bucs related.
Okay.
Number one, we should have a true competition here at the quarterback position. And I know a lot of people, well, I don't know how much, but, I got a good number of people that's been very high on Baker Mayfield. I promise you, I don't know why. Because I don't like the dude as a leader. I don't like him as a starting quarterback. And if you know anybody that's a Cleveland Browns fan, all you Bucs fans that, think this guy's going to come here and take us somewhere, just go and find a Browns fan and get an idea of, what this guy did as a Cleveland Brown. Yeah, you can look at his numbers. You can look at his numbers if you one of those type of people where you want to look at his numbers and say, oh, well, he was, his numbers was pretty good in Cleveland. I'm gonna give you a rundown. Normally we would say, okay, these are not bad, but 2018 was his rookie year. 63% completion percentage, 3,700 yards, 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions in 14 games. Decent year. 51 QBR, 93 quarterback rating.
Okay, the QBR, and
I don't really understand the QBR still, man. It's one of those things that they just recently.
Honestly, the way I look at the QBR, I look at the QBR as a scale, almost. At that, to me, that's what it is. It's kind of a scale. And somehow they average all of his statistics, and they come up with this scale or percentile and everything. I understand it to a point, but I don't understand how they get to that number.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've read it a few times and saw how they come up with it. I just don't understand it because you have the QB rating, and then you have the QBR, which is something new. That's basically a barometer of, I guess, the quarterback's impact on the game, so to speak. So, okay, whatever. All right, so let's go. 2019, Baker played 16 games, 59% completion percentage, 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, 21 interceptions, 78 rating, but his QBR in 2019 was actually better than 2018 with 54 QBR. All right, so 2020, this is probably his best year. This team here was pretty talented. So all these people that say, oh, he didn't have any talent, Baker had a lot of talent in Cleveland. A lot of talent, especially at the running back position, and he had one of the best offensive lines in the game during his time in Cleveland. So here we go. 2020, 62% completions, 3,500 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 95 rating, 65.5 QBR. That was his best season to date. 2021, 14 games played, 60%, 3,000 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 83 quarterback rating, 40 QBR. That was his last season in Cleveland because after that he was traded once Cleveland went after Deshaun Watson. He played 7 games in Carolina. 1,300 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, cut halfway through the season, 74 rating, 24 QBR, and Then he went to the Rams, released from the Carolina, went to the Rams, 5 games, 850 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 86 rating, and 24.5 QBR. So, from the outside, you look at this and you say, okay, this is not bad. Until
so you're saying there's a chance.
No, I'm not saying there's a chance. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No.
No. I mean, okay. So, oh man.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Boss Hog Sean Naylor.
What
in the tub?
What?
In the tub.
In the tub. What the?
Yep.
In the tub.
Calling
man.
you from the bathtub.
What the? Bro.
Hey, I know I heard an echo in the room, but man, from the bath.
Bubbles and all, fellas. Bubbles and all.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Hey, you know if that's what you gotta do, brother, hey, we're okay with it. Long as we hear from my guy, if he gotta take a bubble bath during the show, god dog it, he gonna take him out.
I tell you what, yesterday we had scrimmages with the little guys again. Yesterday we went 5-0. In our 2 weeks worth of scrimmages, we've done 11 mini scrimmages between multiple teams, and we've gone 11-0 in the last 2 weekends.
Wow. Congrats.
Not bad.
My special teams took one to the house on a kickoff. And today I moved 3 bedrooms out of my old house to storage so that I can prep the house to get put on the market and get it sold.
What?
Whoa.
Hey, brother. You,
Yeah. So
man.
I heard a little bit, body's little, beat up. So
that's why you're in the bubble bath.
It's the fiance drew me a bubble bath, and I'm in the bubble bath.
Oh man.
Talking football.
Damn, Debo, what are we doing wrong?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
Man. Oh, okay. Okay, Sean.
And the Commanders are on Monday Night Football tomorrow.
Hey, I thought you said commando. I thought you said commando, bro. I thought you said.
What?
I thought you said. I thought you said my commando, bro.
No, I said my Commanders are on Monday Night Football tomorrow.
Yep,
there is a game on right now. There is a game on right now if anybody has it on.
I hadn't really
Chargers
started,
and the Saints.
My streaming service yet, and I really need to get around to doing that.
Yeah, the Saints are playing right now.
Yeah, it's the Saints.
Yeah.
So,
Boss, I'll call in a little early tonight. Wanted to join the show for a little bit while I was relaxing in this nice warm bubbles, and wanted to talk some football. I do not have a rubber ducky. You're the one. You make bath time lots of fun. Rubber ducky, I'm awfully fond of you. Doop-a-doo.
This man know the whole song. Bro, that song too old, bro, for you to still know the whole song, man.
Man, dude, that's Sesame Street. That's a classic, bro.
Right? Rubber ducky.
Where you been at?
Look, I know it's a classic.
That is a bath time classic.
All I said was, you know the whole song.
So, really quick, I want to comment on this whole Baker Mayfield thing. So, my thing is that the numbers show that he has the talent to be a starting quarterback. He has starting quarterback numbers. However, there's more to it than just numbers. There is a mental aspect. There's a mental aspect to this.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and I don't think he is all the way there yet. And the thing is that being under somebody like Todd Bowles, who is that like silent type coach, you know, he is that he is that strong, he is that silent leader type. He is that Mike Tomlin type coach, or a Tony Dungy type coach, or a Lovie Smith type coach.
Don't. You are putting Todd Bowles in a higher category than he needs to be.
I don't know if he's
he is that type of coach. I'm not saying that he is on that tier with those other guys. What I'm saying is he is that type of coach. And maybe being under that type of coach, maybe that will be good for him to actually be in this type of system. Now, I do agree there does need to be an open competition and everything, but I don't think people need to rush to judgment on either one of the quarterbacks. I mean, they've only played 2 games.
Did he sign a 1-year deal?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 1-year deal.
$1 year, $4 million.
$4 million.
1 year.
It's like $4 million in incentives or something like that.
Yeah, but his guarantee is only like $1 million. The other $3 million is performance incentives.
So is it a $4 million contract or is it an $8 million? Is it $4 million plus?
I thought it was
$4
$8
million in incentives.
I think it's $8.
I thought it was
$4.
$8.
As far as I know, it's a $1 million guarantee, and the other $3 million are performance based.
I mean, we could look it up. But I think
that's what I'm doing. I'm doing that right now.
But
Saints are winning 19-10 in the fourth. If anybody's interested.
What's that?
I said the Saints are winning 19-10 in the fourth. If anybody is interested.
Who's that? Who do they have out there as their QB? Carr or Winston?
Well, it's in the fourth, so probably neither one of them. Let's see here. Spo Trap. NFL contracts. Search. Baker. Thanks. Whoops. So he has a base salary of $1.125 million.
Okay.
He got a $575,000 signing bonus.
Okay.
It's backup money.
His cap hit is $1.7 million. His dead cap is $4 million, and his total salary is $4 million. So if we look this up, fully guaranteed, $4.5 million of incentives available.
Huh.
Wait a minute. It's how much?
$4.5 million in incentives.
Oh, okay. So, but his guarantee is only 1.25, which
that's nothing. That is backup quarterback money.
Man, dude, Arthur, or who was it? Yeah, Arthur last year.
Monopoly
was
money.
Yeah.
Because what was it? Ryan Griffin signed what, a $4 or $5 million?
They paid Ryan Griffin more last season to be number.
So here's my thing. For a maybe, let's see what this kid has. This contract, this is a great contract. This is a great contract for Tampa, and it's a good contract for Baker.
Yeah.
Because and I'll tell you why this is a good contract for Baker. Because if he goes out and if he performs, if he lives up to the potential that the three of us sitting here knows he has, I'm not saying he's there. I'm saying he has the potential. Then, if Tampa likes what they see with this kid, then there is plenty of room to work a long-term deal out that would actually be very cap friendly to Tampa, and it would also get Baker back in a salary that he would be happy with. So no, this contract here, this is probably one of the better contracts I've seen Jason Light negotiate. I mean, because if Baker doesn't work out, then the Bucs are literally out $1.7 billion.
Yeah, and again, a lot of people was, saying, oh, with the money they paid him, they bring him in to be the starter. But I'm looking at it like this: Kyle Trask is actually making more money than Baker as a second round, third round draft pick, and there's no guarantee on that type of salary that you bringing the guy in to be the number one guy. Because everybody was looking at the incentives and the way they mentioned, the way they talked about the contract was like he was getting $8 million. And really, he ain't getting $8 million.
No, he is getting 1.7 million dollars.
Yeah.
That is all he's guaranteed. If Baker loses the quarterback competition and he doesn't get on the field, then I'm willing to bet that most of those incentives go out the window.
Yeah.
Now, and the reason I say most is because he probably has there's probably a practice incentive. There's probably like other incentives that are worked into this contract that he can obtain and not be the starting quarterback. But obviously, that's where the most money is going to come, is if he comes in and shows out and becomes the starting QB. So, like I said, this contract, this is a great contract. And yes, again, I do like Baker Mayfield. I think the kid has potential. His numbers obviously.
Whoever starts Thursday night will tell you who's going to start week 1.
Well, I think Thursday night they were saying, I don't know if they announced it yet, but I thought I heard something saying that Baker would be the starter Thursday, but both guys will get equal amount of playing time. So Baker will start, and then Trask will probably play the first half. I mean the second half.
Well did,
so this competition is not over.
No. Nope.
And with Wofford getting hurt last night, what is that? Who does that put? Does that mean that they each play a half? Does that mean that there's another arm in camp? I mean, I doubt Wofford will play Thursday night.
Yeah, he's not gonna play. Not with the way he left that game. I don't think he's gonna play at all.
No. I mean that would be crazy to put him out there.
So if there's no other arm, then you play Baker for what, 20, 25 plays, and then he's the starting quarterback going into week 1, or if Kyle Trask plays good for 2.5 quarters, does he win the job? And I honestly think it's already set, and it's going to be Baker Mayfield in week 1.
And if that is the case, then Tampa will the Tampa fans will rally around him. Okay, but the thing is that if he does win this battle, his proving it and everything, that's not over. Because as quickly as he won the starting quarterback position,
he could lose it just that fast.
Yeah, exactly. He can lose it just as quickly. Okay, but
just remember what I said Wednesday night. When you have more progressive commercials than you do yards in the NFL, your career is pretty much over.
Well,
and I mean he's on his third team in 2 years.
Well,
and I just don't. I would much rather, if I'm a Bucs fan, and he got the starting job, I would revolt.
Well, I mean,
no,
I wouldn't.
Here's the thing. No, I'm gonna agree with Boss Hog because here's the deal. We know what Baker's gonna do. There's plenty of tape. There's no surprises. There's nothing that he's gonna do that you're gonna say, "Oh wow, I didn't know he could do that," or "Oh wow, what is dumb play." It's plenty of tape out there for
right.
that. So,
but the thing is so here's my thing. So I'm going to be devil's advocate here. Okay, first and foremost, we all know he is not that. Wow, I didn't know he could do that quarterback. Okay, so that's first and foremost.
yeah.
He doesn't have to be that guy. Okay, he just has got to be solid. Okay, we know that he can be a solid quarterback. Okay, the numbers show that. The thing is that once he becomes a solid quarterback, he doesn't need to revert back to that mental, to where he was mentally with this ego that he can't do no wrong, because I saw that a few times in Cleveland, and that to me, that's where the difference is going to be. Is how is it if he does attain success? How is he mentally going to handle that success? Is he going to continue to put his nose to the ground as he has done since he got into camp and perform, or is he going to revert back to that Oklahoma Sooner number one draft pick mindset that he had, that he doesn't have anything he needs to work on? That, to me, that is going to be the question, gentlemen.
Here's the bottom line with this. If Baker starts, the Bucs need to see Baker Mayfield that took the Browns to the playoffs.
Yes, 1,000%. Completely agree.
And if they see that Baker Mayfield, if the Bucs get that Baker Mayfield, the Bucs have a solid chance at winning the South again.
Absolutely, 1,000%. Because there is not one quarterback that is a clear. Well, let me rephrase.
Yeah, I'm about to say, don't do that, because I'll just finna stop you.
There is not a team in the South right now that you can say 1,000% they are a clear-cut favorite.
Yeah, New Orleans.
You cannot.
New Orleans.
Yeah, you can.
New Orleans.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No way. No way.
No. Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. I will tell you why.
They got the best defense. They have the best defense in the division.
Oh, zippity doo-dah day. Okay? Yeah.
Defense wins championships, bro. Defense wins championships, bro.
Yeah.
You can have a mediocre offense. Look at the 2002 Ravens.
Man, dude, I'm not even talking about the offense. I'm not even talking about the offense. I'm talking about the coaching. Dennis Allen does not have what it takes to get over that hump. There, I said it.
Yeah, he ain't been a coach but like 2 years.
Dennis Allen?
He coached the Raiders for 3 years previously.
Yeah, and he did not do jack.
But the Raiders was a dumpster fire.
Bro.
He did not have anything in Oakland.
Okay. And
he has talent in New Orleans.
Bro, he had talent. Boss Hawk, he had talent last year. What did they do?
They didn't have a quarterback.
Yep, there it is. There it is. That was the number one problem with the Saints. No
They
quarterback.
did not have a quarterback in New Orleans last year. They have a quarterback in Derek Carr.
They didn't have a quarterback, and then their best receiver didn't even play last season.
Right, and now you're getting Michael Thomas to go with Olave, and yes, Alvin Kamara is going to miss 3 games, but they are.
Yeah, no, hold on. Let's rewind. Let's rewind for a second. You just said a key thing, Michael Thomas. So let me ask you guys something. Over the last couple of years, how many full seasons has Michael Thomas played?
Well, he's just part of the equation. But when you have a quarterback like a Derek Carr under center, he's going to make everybody around him better.
And I'm sorry, but Michael Thomas is not that great of a receiver.
Oh,
man,
Lord
when that dude is healthy, bro, come on, man.
You need to go back to bed.
Yeah,
William. Michael, I don't know. Either back to bed or quit sipping the bottle while you're on the show. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you got a hold of some funky Gonza. I don't know what's wrong tonight.
You forget what this
guy Michael Thomas done to show you that he's a top level receiver.
Okay. I mean, I pull him up and pull up his numbers, but dude was unstoppable. I don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, when he's healthy, dude's the problem.
Yes, when he's healthy. I go back to my previous statement. How many full seasons has he played recently?
0.
I'll let you guys mull over that. Look, Michael Thomas is a great slant guy, but that's all he is. He's a slant receiver.
He's not no slant receiver. He's not no slant receiver, man.
What?
Oh, Lord.
William.
No.
William.
Man, what games have you guys been watching?
Bruh, we watch the Saints all the time. They're in the same division as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, obviously, you guys are watching another game.
Okay, William. The last 2 seasons, he played 7 games in 2020. He missed all of 2021. He played 3 games last season. But hold on.
I rest my case.
No, ain't no rest your case. Because I'm finna.
No. You just proved my point. Thank you.
Because you got to look at the whole body of work. The dude been injured. So you can't hold that against him because he's been injured the last 2 years and say he's not a good football player. Because the 4 seasons before he started getting injured, 92 receptions, 104, 125 receptions, 149 receptions, 1,100 yards, 1,100 yards, 1,200 yards, 1,400 yards, 1,700 yards.
Okay. I'm sure you got a point there somewhere.
Who's catching those balls? Who in the league at that time was catching that many passes?
Let's see here.
You'll be thinking
that many passes.
Yes.
Where would you like me to start?
I don't know. 149 receptions. That's not a little bit of receptions, bro. That's
and he had a quarterback.
He had Drew Brees.
For some people, that's 2 seasons. For some number one guys, that is 2 seasons of
for some people,
footballs.
That's a career.
That's his last healthy season, 2019.
I tell you guys what, you guys just get on that little Michael Thomas bandwagon.
There's no bandwagon, bro.
Oh no, there is.
Okay, name a Buccaneer receiver that was that good. Don't even say Mike Evans.
No, Mike Evans have to have 149 receptions to reach over 1,000 yards.
He was the best. He was one of the top receivers in the league for 4 years up until 2020. So
okay, but again, 149 receptions.
Yeah, in 108. Hold on.
For 14 and 1,700 yards
in a 16-game season.
Yeah, 16-game season.
Okay.
And hold on, 149 receptions in 185 targets. Dude ain't dropping passes. Like, you look at the targets. Okay, 2016, 92 receptions, 122 targets. 104 receptions, 149 targets. 125 receptions, 147 targets. 149 receptions, 185 targets.
Yeah. This dude is catching short passes.
Who cares? It's 149 receptions, bro. These man almost had 1,800 yards receiving.
Oh, okay.
Like, okay, the offense that New Orleans run, Drew Brees wasn't throwing downfield. That wasn't part of the offense.
But here's the thing, and this is what you guys are. You guys are talking about a system that is. I haven't seen that system since Sean Payton left.
But then it's not going to be that system. I mean, it'll be a completely different system. But Derek Carr, has a stronger arm than what Drew Brees had. He's gonna throw the ball downfield. But I don't even care because it doesn't matter. The yards per average don't matter to me.
If he's throwing the ball, no, this is what I'm saying. If he is throwing the ball down the field, Michael Thomas is not going to be the guy catching those balls.
How do you know? The dude is not. It ain't like the dude is slow, bro. He's a 4.4 runner.
No, you're missing my point. My point is that they always put Michael Thomas working. Or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Most of the time, they're putting Michael Thomas in to work the slant route.
Bro, you're not catching 149 receptions just running slants, bro. Come on, man.
I didn't say every one of his plays was a slant, but that is where they put him 90% of the time. And now you got Chris Olave, and you got the other receiver that is working the outside. Do you really think that Michael Thomas is going to continue to have that many receptions?
It doesn't matter. It's the fact that the dude is capable of that is what is going to make that New Orleans team dangerous in the passing game.
As long as he stays healthy. If he doesn't stay healthy, then he's not a factor.
Well, I mean, you gotta wait for him to get hurt before to say he's not a factor. But if he's on the field, he's a factor.
He is a factor as long as they are running inside passes.
No, man. Listen, I'm a Bucs fan just like you is, bro. But at the end of the day, I've seen too many games. I've seen too many games with Michael Thomas in the Saints jersey to know he ain't no one-dimensional receiver. You basically trying to say this man is a one-dimensional receiver.
What I'm saying is that is where his bread and butter is, and this is what I've told Saints fans: his bread and butter is the inside.
Okay,
that is where his bread and butter
Chris Godwin bread and butter is the inside. And what's your point? That's where you make That's where you make your money. That's the best receivers go across the middle. Not the average receivers or the guys who just run deep routes. The best receivers work the outside and the inside. You making money going over the middle.
How many times have you seen Chris Godwin go down the sideline?
Bruh, in the offense that since Chris Godwin been here, he's been a majority slot guy. He's doing all the dirty. He's doing all the dirty work that Mike Evans can't do or won't do or they just don't want to use him that way. And he's the best receiver on the Bucs roster right now. I keep telling people.
That's a completely different conversation because we've already said that Chris Godwin is the better receiver on the Bucs.
He's the best route runner
because Mike Evans won't go over the middle.
He's got the best hands. He catches the ball in traffic. I mean, everything that we sitting here talking about Chris Godwin is Michael Thomas, but a little bit better.
But the thing is the difference is I don't see Michael Thomas going down the sideline like I see Chris Godwin. Okay, and look, I am not saying that Michael Thomas is a horrible receiver. Michael Thomas is a good receiver. I'm just saying he's not the best receiver. That's all I'm saying.
The best receiver where? In the league? Nobody said he was the best receiver in the league. But when that dude is when he's healthy,
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't think he's the best receiver in the South.
Who is? Who if he's healthy? Who's the best receiver? There's only one other guy that could do what Michael Thomas can do, and he wears number 14 on the Bucs. That's Chris Godwin.
Thank you. He's the best receiver in the South.
Now, listen. I like Godwin. You know me. I like Godwin. But until he putting up those numbers, no. I'm not just finna.
He don't have to put up those numbers.
Yes, he do.
He don't
oh,
have
yes,
to
he
have,
do.
No,
oh, yes, he do.
You don't have to have a four.
Oh, yes, he do.
You don't have to have. Bro, I don't care how many receptions he has, or anything like that. If he is going over 1,000 yards with less receptions, that means that he is either A, making plays after the catch, or B, he's going down the sideline.
Okay, so let's look at Chris Godwin. He's been here long enough, so let's look at Chris Godwin. And he had, just like Thomas played with a Hall of Fame quarterback, Godwin just got finished playing the last 3 years with a Hall of Fame quarterback. So it should be even. So let's see. Let's see. And that's with Mike Evans. And now when Thomas was healthy, New Orleans had more than just him. They had receivers.
Well,
they had playmakers all around him. He just still dominated. So it wasn't like Drew Brees. It wasn't like Drew Brees and had nobody to throw to. Alvin Kamara was catching freaking 60, 80 balls.
Yeah, well, Alvin Kamara was catching the ball out of the backfield.
There's still receptions. Still receptions.
Yeah.
So let's look at Godwin. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Godwin best season. He's been in the league. He's going on his 7th season now, so that's enough. Godwin best year, he caught 104 balls.
Okay. How many yards?
Just 1,023.
Thank you.
9.8 yards per reception. That's lower than any year that Michael Thomas had. So you want to talk about a guy being working the outside and going downfield? Last season, Chris Godwin, less than 10 yards per reception, but he caught 104 balls. The year before he caught
104 balls, and how many yards did he have?
1,023. So he just barely broke 1,000 yards. Michael Thomas' worst year was better than that. Like, his worst year playing the full season was better than Chris Godwin's best year playing the full season.
Okay. And what was Michael Thomas's worst year?
his worst year healthy. Let's see, because that's what I'm going off of. His worst year while he was healthy. So let's go and look at that. His worst year where he played a full season. So Saints, Thomas. Where is they? Okay, so his worst year, as a New Orleans Saint was his rookie year.
Okay.
92 receptions for 1,137 yards, 9 touchdowns, to a 12.4 average. That was his worst year, because after that, he just got better. Every year he got better up until 2020 when the injury started.
Okay. And what was his average per catch?
I just said 12.4. So that's a whole 3 yards. That's a whole 3 yards better than Chris Godwin, almost.
And that was his worst year.
That was his worst year, where he played at least 15 games. He played 15 games that year.
Okay.
So that's better than Godwin's best year. And they basically, if you want to be realistic, they probably about the same style of receiver.
No, I have to disagree with that.
I won't because I watched New Orleans enough to know how they was using Michael Thomas, and I see how they using Godwin. Godwin is deadly in the middle of the field. Most of his damage comes in the middle of the field. He ain't on the sidelines because Mike Evans is working the sidelines. Even if Godwin is playing wide out, he's coming across the middle. Okay,
but you just said something, and this is what I'm talking about. Okay, you just said that Mike Evans is working the sideline. New Orleans has 2 receivers that are going to be working the sidelines. Dude, Michael Thomas, his bread and butter, as long as he stays healthy, is over the middle.
It doesn't matter though. That's my point. It doesn't matter what his bread and butter is. The dude is catching 100 balls. If he stays healthy and he plays a full season, it's an automatic 100 receptions. That's his career.
Automatic 100 receptions, and the dude is averaging less yards per catch, or he will be averaging less yards per catch than what Olave or the other guys.
Yeah, because all of they're gonna. But see, I don't care about that because Olave and whoever else they have on the outside, those guys are set up in the passing game by what Michael Thomas is doing. So if Michael Thomas is not in that lineup, Olave and the other dude ain't gonna have those looks that they gonna get when the defense gotta respect Michael Thomas being on the field. He changes the whole dynamic of anybody's passing game. Because you have to pay attention to him and you can't single cover him. You gotta roll coverage to Michael Thomas.
And again, that again goes back to what system are they going to be using?
It don't matter though what system. It doesn't matter. The dude he's that guy at the receiver position. It doesn't matter. You could bring any system when it comes to the passing game. Michael Thomas he's the guy. Olave and the other guys play off of Michael Thomas. It ain't the other way around. Michael Thomas ain't playing off of Olave. Everything starts with Michael Thomas and branches out. So it doesn't really matter what system you have. If Michael Thomas is healthy and you have Derek Carr at the quarterback, The Raiders are stupid. They got Garoppolo, but you still stupid for just letting David Carr walk like this dude is garbage or something.
No, he's not garbage, and we said that. We said that the minute that what's his name McDaniels started going away from David Carr. We said that was a big mistake. Okay, but my thing is that with the Raiders, I didn't see David Carr throwing a lot of passes that were quote unquote short yardage, and this is what I'm saying. Okay,
I know what you're saying, William, but dude, Michael Thomas is not a slow receiver.
No, never said he was.
Whichever offense you bring, it doesn't matter how the Saints used him with Drew Brees. He was perfect for Drew Brees because Drew Brees wasn't throwing the ball downfield. That don't mean.
And Derek Carr is that quarterback.
So now
down
Michael Thomas' yards per catch is going to go up because the balls that he's going to be catching are going to be throwing more downfield, less shorter yardage.
Okay, you're under the impression that they're going to draw the plays up to specifically go to Thomas.
No, I'm under the impression that their offense, from a passing game standpoint, is going to be more.
It's going to be more.
It's going to be more open. It's going to be more open. That's my only impression. That their offense will be more open than it has been over the last couple years.
Okay, if you are correct, and it is more open, then yes, Michael Thomas might actually get his dues. But until then, I'm sorry, I don't see it.
Well, we just gonna have to disagree on this because Michael Thomas.
Absolutely.
Michael Thomas.
And that's fine.
To me,
but if Michael Thomas comes out this year,
when he's healthy,
and he blows everybody, and if he blows everybody away, then you know what? I will be the first person.
But I
come on this show and say I was wrong.
I got numbers here to prove that when this dude is healthy, he's unguardable. I mean, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm looking at his career. That's what you do. You look at the past to kind of get an idea of what the future gonna be. So when he is healthy and he has played a full season,
he hasn't been healthy in the last 3 years.
Okay, so I mean, he hasn't been healthy. Now he is. So if he's healthy, this dude is gonna be a factor. In the end of the story, that's not even a debate. If he's healthy, he's going to be a factor. With a quarterback, he's going to be a factor.
If they play as wide open as you say that they're going to play, yes, he will be a factor.
It doesn't matter. You can play wide open. You can play a West Coast style offense, short throws. It doesn't matter. Dude, he's a complete receiver, so he can play in any. He can play in any offense.
Well, as I do. Derek Carr is not a short throw quarterback.
But Derek Carr is an upper tier quarterback. You're under the assumption that a more wide open downfield offense, Michael Thomas not going to thrive.
No. What I'm saying is that if it is more open, if it is as open as what you said it is. That you think it's going to be, I am saying that he will thrive. But what I am kind of thinking is that they are, especially with John Gruden, they're and I don't care if they're calling him a consultant or not. Trust me, he gave whatever plays he had drawn up for Derek Carr, and those were the deep throws down the sideline to I forget what receivers he had there in Oakland, but that is what I'm saying, is that if it is the same style offense that the Raiders were using, you're talking about receivers. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the type of offense Gruden was running there in Las Vegas, Oakland, where whatever was receivers was the deep ball, and receivers either going down the sideline or maybe crossing at the end. How many short throws did you see Las Vegas or John Gruden drawing up? Because I didn't see a lot.
It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter, because when you got a receiver with the ability of a Thomas, but actually John Gruden offense is perfect, because he's going to find his playbook is going to expose the weakness of any defense, and it's going to allow receivers to get matchups one-on-one.
If it is a more open offense,
it's got to be more open than what has been the last 2 or 3 years since Drew Brees retired.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, they didn't go out there and pick up Derek Carr to just dink and dunk. But my point is, Michael Thomas ain't. I mean, you have to. What New Orleans did early on in Michael Thomas' career was because of the quarterback. It wasn't because Michael Thomas' limitations. It was because of the quarterback that they were using. The offense he was running was perfect for Drew Brees and Sean Payton. Drew Brees wasn't stretching the field. He wasn't stretching the field. So the way they used Michael Thomas was perfect for Drew Brees. Now you got a different quarterback, you got a new offense, and you got Michael Thomas. If healthy, he's gonna catch 100 balls. If he doesn't catch 100 balls, he's gonna be around 80 or 90 receptions, and he's gonna have over 1,000 yards receiving.
I don't think he's going to catch 100 balls.
No,
not with them having Olave and
listen.
In that other receiver on the other side.
Olave is a specialist, and that's what he is. He's not gonna catch more passes than Michael Thomas. He's a speed guy. He's a smaller, speedy receiver. Michael Thomas is 6'3" and about a 215, 220. He's not catching more balls than Michael Thomas. It doesn't matter. He's not going to get more targets than Michael Thomas. He's not. If that's the case, then the Saints, they'll be the dumbest offense in the league. You're not going to have Michael Thomas on the field and give a number 2 and a number 3 receiver more passes.
Well, but also remember, Olave is not the only other receiver besides Michael Thomas. You got Traquan Smith that is probably going to be lined up on the other side.
So here's the Saints receivers for this year. Hold on, let me see. All right, so you got rookie Shaquan Davis from South Carolina. You got Brian Edwards, 4th year, South Carolina. Jontre Kirkland, LSU, 1st year. Keith Kirkwood, 4th year, Temple. Kirk Merritt, 1st year, Arkansas State. Chris Olave, 2nd year, Ohio State. A.T. Perry, Wake Forest. Traquan Smith, again, he's a specialist guy. He's not that dude. Rashid Shaheed, second year out of Weaver State. So if we go and look at, again, Chris Olave, this is just, last season. And this is with, different quarterbacks. Not really having the same quarterback. He caught 72 balls, 119 targets. That's he was the guy. But there wasn't no Michael Thomas on the field. So those targets gonna go down. He's not duplicating that because your number one receiver is back on the field. So he may not reach those numbers this year. And he only had four touchdowns, 14.5 yards average per reception. Let's see.
Well, now, also take into account with those numbers that was also because he was the quote unquote only tangible.
Yeah, he was the only. That's what I'm saying.
On the field.
That's what I'm saying. He was
and it's like you said before. When Michael Thomas is on the field, and I agree with this, you have to respect him. You have to respect him on the field because yes, if he is lined up and he runs that slant route, look, to me there is nobody better in the NFL running the slant route.
Or it won't be the same offense though. That's the thing.
Or running these little hooks than Michael Thomas. I'm just saying that Michael Thomas.
Hey, if you can't stop it though, you just can't stop it. I don't care if it's a 7-yard hook, a 5-yard slant, a 10-yard out, a 7-yard out, a post 7-yard. It doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. Is that over the middle, or I'm sorry, not a. Yeah, I guess so. Over the middle, those little hook button, these little hook button passes, and everything. Nobody is better than Michael Thomas. All I was saying is I don't think he is the best, and I should have rephrased that. I don't think he is the best all-around receiver. I think he has his niche, and I think that niche is these little hooks and these little 5, 6, 7-yard little passes and all that, which there's nothing wrong with that. All I was saying is that to me, Michael Thomas is he's not the best all around receiver, and I mean, and for that factor, Chris Godwin is not the best all around receiver in the NFL. If you put a gun to my head and you tell me to pick a receiver that I think that is at least top 3, 4, or 5, it's probably Jefferson in Minnesota. But again, that's my opinion. Just like my opinion of Michael Thomas. I just don't think he is that guy.
Okay, so here we go. We got the Saints twice this year. So if Michael Thomas torch us in both of these games, then what?
What do you mean that what?
No, what I mean is you seem to think that Michael Thomas is this one trick pony, post slant, hook, whatever the case may be.
That is where his bread and butter is. That's all I would say.
To me, it don't even matter. Like, I don't care. Like, this is why I don't care for the argument of everybody that they make with Mike Evans. Yeah, you go look at Mike Evans. He done piled up a lot of numbers. His yards per reception is very high because all he does is run go routes, post routes, and down the sideline. So yeah. His reception yards per reception is always going to be high because he don't work the middle of the field like that. To me, to be a great receiver, to be one of the best, you got to work the middle of the field. You got to be able to work the middle of the field. You got good feet. You got to have good reaction time. You got to be able to catch the ball in traffic. You got to be a superb route runner.
Okay.
So I don't care.
AKA Jefferson from Minnesota.
It doesn't matter to me about speed. It doesn't matter to me. It's when the ball is thrown your way, can you catch it? That's all I'm worried about. When the game is on the line, you need that first down. Who getting the ball thrown to him? That's what I care about.
Okay, but don't you think that there is something to be said for Chris Godwin being able to make yards after the catch?
Yeah, he our best receiver. I've been said that. Chris Godwin, yards after the catch, is one of the better receivers in the whole league.
Okay, but he can't do that without speed.
No, I never said Chris Godwin was slow. Chris Godwin ran a 4.3 coming out of Penn State.
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, and Michael Thomas was around the same speed. Michael Thomas is not slow. The way he's being used, it doesn't utilize his speed, but that dude can run.
You cannot be slow running slant routes.
No, you can. You just gotta be quick. You gotta have that quick first step. You don't have to have blazing speed. If you got a quick first step, you can get open on a slant. Trust me, bro. Trust me. I don't have a quick first step, but it's route running. That's all it is. It's technique. You know how to use that technique. You can get open on the slant even if you're not fast.
Yeah, but again, I go back to my question. Don't you think that when you are running the routes that Michael Thomas ran or Chris Godwin ran, no, you don't have to be fast, but don't you think that it helped their case for them actually being fast?
Yeah, I mean, because it helps you get separation. So it does help. It does help having that speed, that extra burst, where you can get the ball and you can make something happen. But it's not. It's not something where you can't function if you don't have top of the line speed. There's been plenty of receivers that have played in the slot or played in the league. Jerry Rice didn't have top end speed. He wasn't like the fastest dude, but he just ran his routes. There was no better route runner than Jerry Rice. He knew knew how to use his leverage. He understood the defense and how they was trying to play him, and he knew when to cut his route short or to cut his route a little bit longer before he made his move.
Well, I mean, you don't put up numbers like Jerry Rice put up without knowing how to run routes. There ain't no way.
Yeah, and to me, one of my biggest things about wide receivers, people look at the touchdowns. That's great. That's great. You somebody else gets you down into the red zone inside the 5-yard line, and you get the touchdown pass. It's the same thing with Barry Sanders. When Barry Sanders played, Barry Sanders should have probably had 20 touchdowns a season. But every time he got them down into the red zone, in goal line situations, Wayne Fontes would take him out of the game, and somebody else would score the touchdown. Does that mean that guy that scored a touchdown was better than Barry Sanders because he might have had more touchdowns? No.
So here's my thing. Like you just said, touchdowns are great. They are. Obviously, they put points on the board. But what I look at is for receivers, how many yards are they averaging per catch? Because if they're averaging, like, what did you say Michael Thomas's rookie year was?
If Michael 12.4.
Like 12. Okay. So if Michael Thomas or any receiver is averaging 12 yards per catch for me versus the guy that has 15 touchdowns and he has, I don't know, we'll say half the yards per catch. To me, the guy that has the more yards per that is averaging the more yards per catch, that's my guy. Okay, that's the guy that I'm looking at because you just hit the nail on the head. Anybody can go and score a touchdown or something like that when you're on the 1 yard line or the half-foot line. But what I look at is who was the guy that got them down there? Just like you just got done saying, Barry Sanders. I'm curious how many yards per run did he average? Because it has to be up there. Like I said, touchdowns are great, but I want to know who the guy was or who the guys were that got them down there to the red zone.
So,
because to me, those are my workhorses right there.
I'm looking at Evans because I wanted to see what his yards per reception.
It should be like 9 or 10 yards per reception.
No,
something like that.
This is the point. This is the point I was making about Mike Evans. One trick pony. His yards per average is like 15.
Okay.
That's his career average, 15.3 yards per every reception.
Okay.
But here's the issue. His targets compared to receptions. So yeah, when he catches the ball, he's getting there. But you got 60. His rookie year, he had 68 receptions, 1,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But he had 124 targets. So, I mean,
so that right there, that's telling me that he's dropping passes.
He's dropping passes. You got a lot of I mean that's not efficient. That's not efficient. If you got 124 targets and only 68 receptions. Remember when I read off Micah Thomas.
That's what slightly better than 50%.
Yeah. So remember I read off Micah Thomas. Micah Thomas had 1 year where he literally only had 20 missed targets. I mean, and some of that is due to the quarterback and whatnot too. But we Bucs fans, we know Mike Evans struggled early on in his career with drop passes, or dogging on the routes, or pulling up on routes.
There you go. Wait, no. I want you to stop right there. Say what you just said.
dogging it on routes.
Thank you. Thank you. Everything else that you said after that, to me, that it is a factor, but it's not the number one factor. What say what you just said again about him? What did he do on routes?
He was stop on a lot on his routes.
Okay, there you go.
Or cut a route short, or round off a route. He wasn't running the route as sharp, so the throw might be off. Or I've seen plenty of times with him going across the middle where he pulled up.
Hold on. I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
Was the throw off?
No.
Or did he just stop running the route and the ball was actually where it was supposed to be?
Well, I've seen a few times where he kind of slowed up and the ball he slowed up thinking that he couldn't get the ball or whatever. But on the cameras, it looked like it was catchable. But he slowed up and the ball literally dropped about 3 yards away from him.
Okay.
I mean that don't happen a lot, but one thing I always had an issue with Evans opposed to a lot of the top receivers is his fundamental route running is terrible, and that's part of the reason why his yards per average is where they at, because they just strictly use him for the deep ball
for the outside.
Yeah,
that's what he is.
Listen, I was at a game. In his rookie year, I was at the Rams game. I had season tickets. It was either his rookie year or his second year, and Evans went across the middle near the end of the game. He caught the pass, but dude got lit up. I'm talking. He got fire knocked out of his behind.
Okay.
And ever since
that's
then,
what happens when you go over the middle.
Ever since then, my dude ain't going over the middle like that. And he's too big.
You think it scared him?
Yeah, maybe. He's too big of a receiver not to be more dominant in the middle of the field. Too big.
Well,
too big.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, because if you look at the type at his overall physique and everything like that, you would think he would be the perfect guy to be running over the middle.
Yeah, I mean,
because he's a big guy.
You look at guys, let's say Michael Irvin, Larry Fitzgerald, just to name a few. Big receivers, but across the middle, freaking unstoppable. Like, they one-on-one matchups, you knew they was catching the ball. They knew how to knew how to run the routes.
Especially,
They knew they knew how to get separation. They used their body as leverage. For the defender to keep them from coming across their body and knocking the ball away. They use their body to almost like a box out, playing basketball, keep them away from the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They was excellent at that. Evans ain't never been. He should be a possession receiver. He's not really a possession receiver.
No, not really.
He's not really like I've too many times we're Bucs fans, folks, and I know there's going to be some Bucs fans that don't like what we're saying. They about to get their feelings hurt. The fact is, a possession receiver is a first, third and 8, third and 9. Where you going? The defense know you going. The defensive coordinator know that you going there. The fans in the stadium know that we going here, and you still can't stop it. That's a possession receiver. When you need that first down, where you going? You ain't got a scheme to get that guy open. They already know he getting it. It don't matter. He's still getting the ball. He's not that dude. Chris Godwin, you notice, and I've been, it showed more when Brady got here of the caliber of receiver the two are. And when Brady needed a play, who he was throwing to? Godwin. It'll be some games Godwin to have 12, 15 targets. And Evans will be, 2 or 3 receptions. I mean, to me, you just can't get lost. To me, if you want to be in that class of elite, there's too many games where Evans has just got lost. And you're like, where's Evans? I haven't heard his name all game. What? That's because if he ain't catching the deep ball, dude is silent. I mean, yeah, you can look at these, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,200, 1,300, 1,000 yards, 1,500, 1,100, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,100. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. But it looks good.
Well, I mean, but the thing is that it is good, but it's not great.
Yeah, it is good, but it's not great. It's just steady. You know what I'm saying? It's just steady.
Well,
and
listen, but this is the thing.
We looking at William. You mentioned it. The targets, and this is the prime example of what we're talking about here for the wide receiver position. You throw a guy football, and 70-80% of the time they come down with it. Now you look at Evans, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot to factor, with this. But his career, he's got 683 receptions on his career. Dude, he's got 12.
But what were his targets?
He's got 1,200 targets.
Okay,
that's
so again,
just 50%.
So again, he's a 50-50 guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's look at real quick before, because I want to compare him and Godwin targets to reception just to see. This lets you know, like, the hands, like if a guy got hands or not. So Chris Godwin's sample size is a little bit smaller. He hasn't been in the league as long, but I just read you Mike Evans. He's going into his 11th year in the league.
Yes.
He's got just 680 some odd receptions. Chris Godwin is going into his 7th season. He's already got 446 receptions.
Okay, but what were his targets?
625.
Thank you.
At the end of the day, that number right there shows you dependability of a guy when you need a play.
How many yards? I'm curious. How many yards is he averaging?
For his career, he's at 12.7.
Okay, so here's the thing, and this is my point. Yeah, Mike Evans, yes, he is averaging per catch more yards, but Godwin is making more catches, and he is 3 yards lower per average.
Yeah, because the yak, the runs after catch for Godwin, where his per average is still, 12, 13 yards, 14 yards per reception, because when he catches the ball, he just don't go down. Like when Evans catches the ball a lot, he just goes down. He's not getting that yak.
Okay, but regardless if they go down or not, Okay, my thing is that Godwin may have averaged less yards, but he's still getting me a first down.
Yeah.
Every catch.
Yeah.
So if he's getting me a first down every catch,
that's all
regardless
matters.
Regardless if it's 12, he could even be averaging 11 yards. But if he's catching the ball more per target than what my other guy is, that's my number one receiver right there.
Well, I just look at it as a number one receiver is a guy that when the goings get tough, you can put your best cover guy on that guy, and I'm still throwing him the ball. And he's that
guy in Tampa and in the NFC South. To me, that guy is Chris Godwin.
I mean, like we said before, man, Chris Godwin and Thomas is pretty much the same dude. They do the same. They do the same exact things for their respective teams. They're the same type of receiver.
Well, I think that Godwin, I think he runs more different routes than what Michael Thomas does. But again, like we were saying, and the point I was making is that
when you throw the ball, they catch
it. The offensive schemes between Tampa and New Orleans were way different. And you hit it on the head when you said it was because of the quarterback. And you know what? And like I said, if Gruden comes in and he opens this up and Thomas starts making plays down the field, then I'll be like, all right, yeah. But right now, I really, like I said, Godwin is that dude in the NFC South. Godwin is not the best receiver in the NFL. Like I said, to me, I kind of lean more towards Jefferson in Minnesota. But that's just me.
Here's the thing, where and I'll pick it back off of you. You know, yeah, Godwin is not, the best receiver in the NFL. And you can make an argument for Godwin being, the best receiver in the South. And the only reason being is, the last 2 years he's been healthy, and Thomas has not been. But when Thomas is healthy, you can make an argument for him being the best guy in the South. He's gonna have to stay healthy this season and see how that offense fits with with Carr and throwing him the ball.
Let me ask you something. Let's say Thomas does not fit in this New Orleans offense.
Hey, well, then somebody else will be glad to have him. Shoot, I don't see how a dude like Thomas don't fit. In the offense when
the only way that
he's a safety blanket.
The only way I don't see him fitting is if
Carr's not throwing the field. Carr's not throwing the ball downfield like that, though. I mean, Olave, he's going to have his speed. He's going to get those opportunities. But if this offense is any resemblance of John Gruden West Coast offense, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Thomas under the middle, underneath in the middle of the field.
But let me ask you something. Take a look at Gruden's offense there in Las Vegas. Okay.
They didn't have nothing. They didn't have nothing.
Do you think that that's the reason that he kept it close? Is because they did not have that.
Well, they didn't have a true. They didn't have a true number one receiver. I mean, they had a number one tight end in Darren Waller, but up until they got Adams, which only lasted this season because John Gruden was fired. They didn't have a true number one. Part of Derek Carr's struggles was because they could never find that true number one receiver.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't they? What about that one receiver? He came from Alabama, and
you talking about Ruggs?
He fooled around and he committed like vehicular manslaughter or something.
Yeah, but
you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's Ruggs. He wasn't. He hadn't came.
How many years did he play? Because it wasn't.
Nah,
long.
It wasn't long, dude. It was like 2 years. He hadn't even really became that X factor type of dude yet. I mean, yeah, he had great speed, and
I mean, well, that the only reason I bring him up is because, to me, I mean, unless I'm missing or I'm forgetting somebody, that was kind of the only number one receiver Carr had.
Well, let me look at it. Let me see. Derek Carr last season. So last season he had Adams. And that was basically his number one guy. Jacobs caught 53 passes. Darren Waller only caught 28. So the season before that, let me see, 21 regular season. His number one guy was Hunter Renfrow.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So
yeah,
they've never
I forgot about him.
And Henry Ruggs played 7 games and only had 24 receptions. So
That's all he played?
Yeah, because that was the year he got arrested. That was the year.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's right.
That was the year he got arrested for the vehicular homicide. So,
yeah,
he didn't play that much, but yeah, I mean, when Hunter Renfrow, and nothing against Hunter Renfrow because he was an excellent route runner, but when that's your number one dude, and Derek Carr still putting up like, almost 5,000 yards passing, with almost 70% completion percentage, and he wasn't. He didn't have a true number one receiver.
I mean, you're not wrong, and I think that this is the reason that we all just kind of scratched our heads when like they what was it did they release him or
they just they released. I think they released him. No, I think it was a trade.
Yeah.
Was it a trade? No, I think they just outright released him after the season.
Yeah, it was something like that because I remember when the news came down. Actually, me and you were talking in the chat room, and Boss Hog broke in and said, "Yeah, the Raiders just released or did something with Derek Carr," and I remember just sitting there in complete astonishment, like that. Look, I love me some Jimmy G.
He's not better than Derek Carr. He's not better than Derek Carr. He's not better than Derek. I mean, Jimmy G. He wins games. He wins games, but he's not better than Carr. When you look at Carr numbers,
yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, Jimmy G and Derek Carr, I really don't think they're the same quarterback.
No, they're not.
I really don't. I think Jimmy G is better at some stuff than Derek Carr is, and I believe Derek Carr is better at some stuff than Jimmy G is. But here's the thing. And you guys said it earlier. Derek Carr has weapons in New Orleans.
Yeah, he's never had weapons like that. I mean,
okay,
at any point in Oakland.
What does Jimmy G really have in Las Vegas?
The same weapons that Derek Carr just left? I mean, let's see. Let's look at it. Because, I can get an idea.
Is it really the same? Because Waller's not there.
No, Waller's gone.
With the Giants.
Yeah, so
Devontae Adams is trying to get out.
He's got nothing.
If Devontae Adams leaves, who is Jimmy G going to have there?
Nothing.
Thank you. If Devontae Adams leaves, it is going, dude. If I said that was going to be a train wreck, it would be an understatement. Because, man, dude, I don't want to even think about that. Because
and that's my thing when we was talking earlier about, the Saints, being the team to beat in the South, is you have a all-pro quarterback that's still young enough to give you about 8 more productive years of some good quality football.
But the thing is Dennis Allen, is he going to be able to kind of take that step back and let the offense run the offense?
Well,
because here's the thing. Dennis Allen, I don't think he knows how to adjust well, and I think that is his biggest problem with being a head coach is that he doesn't know how to adjust. And like I said, I'm sorry, Debo, and we can argue about this till we're blue in the face. I don't think Dennis Allen is head coaching material.
Well,
I do not think he is that guy.
He may not be, but as long as he got a good staff, which the Saints do, they have a really good, coaching staff on both sides of the ball. He can not be qualified all day long, but if the Saints are, playing well and winning games, then it is what it is. You're not gonna get rid of the coach. I mean, the Saints probably coming into the season, probably the team to beat, and I'm sure when they start doing the picks and stuff like that for the every division, a lot of people gonna be picking the Saints out of the South, because if Bucs want to start Baker, see ya. I mean, either way, Baker or Kyle Trask, Bucs are not going anywhere. And I could be wrong. And I'll stay with that argument that this season should have been a rebuild. And we should have left Baker on the streets and just went with Kyle Trask, see what you got in Kyle Trask. If you want to move forward with this kid after drafting him in the second round and then sitting and developing him behind Brady, you should have did. It should have been a rebuild and see what you got in Kyle Trask, and then because you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere.
Here's the thing. Okay, look, let's just cut the unicorns and pixie dust here for a second. Okay, let's look at reality. The reality is that regardless of what they say, the Bucs are rebuilding. True or false?
True.
Okay, it doesn't matter what the general manager, the owners, the head coach say.
See, to some fans though, to some fans, William, the Baker Mayfield pickup made them think that we still had
Baker Mayfield pickup was a good pickup.
But a lot of people think the Mayfield pickup meant us still competing for something.
No,
okay.
Not at all.
Watch
not
how mad.
All.
Watch how mad these fans be after the first month of the season. Watch.
The Baker Mayfield pickup was exactly what it is. It was to bring competition into the quarterback ranks, because if Trask is not that guy, we need to find out sooner rather than later. Baker Mayfield is a veteran. Baker Mayfield has been there. Okay? Now, granted, yes, Kyle Trask, let's see. Was Trask on that Super Bowl winning team with Tom Brady?
No, he wasn't. We drafted him that
next year. Okay, but here's the thing: let's call the Baker Mayfield pickup what it was. It was a veteran presence, a decent arm for little to no money. There is no downside to the Baker Mayfield pickup. There is not one. You cannot name me one. You cannot name me one downside to it. We needed a backup quarterback, so we got a backup quarterback, regardless if it's Trask or Mayfield. We got a starting quarterback, regardless if it's Trask or Mayfield. Okay, that Baker Mayfield pickup there, that was one of the best pickups I've seen the Bucs do. And why? Because of the money. The money, and look, is Baker Mayfield that top team captain guy? No, not yet. But he does have an arm. We've already looked at his numbers. He don't have bad numbers. So we got a pretty good quarterback for little to no money. And that is what the Baker Mayfield pickup is. You want to summarize it into one sentence: a pretty good quarterback to little to no money, no downside.
Well, looking at the last season standings, this is why I'm trying to, get people to understand, like, it's going to be a rough year.
Well, it's going to be a rough year for almost every team.
Because looking at our division last season, we had Brady. We was 8-9, under 500, with Brady. Carolina,
right.
Carolina with all the mess that they had going on, finished 7-10.
Yeah.
New Orleans finished 7-10. Atlanta finished 7-10. Well, who got better in the offseason?
Who got better the most, or to me,
I'm gonna say we was the least improved team in the offseason. From a free agency standpoint,
free agency standpoint, yes.
Yeah, I mean we don't know
because I don't think we did a lot.
We don't know about the draft, so I can't sit here and tell you we had a better draft than Carolina because that all be yet to be remains to be seen. Once we start playing games, we'll be able to see how our draft picks fare. But from a free agency standpoint, we didn't get better. New Orleans got their car.
Right.
Carolina.
And as far as and I was about to say, in Carolina, they got Bryce Young.
Yeah, they got Bryce Young, who's probably going to end up being better than Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask.
Look, I don't say this a lot about Alabama quarterbacks.
Dude, I don't even like Alabama, and I like the way Bryce Young throw the football.
Bryce Young, hands down, and I'm about to make a very bold statement, but I have a feeling Bryce Young is going to be the best quarterback to come out of Alabama in the NFL.
Probably. I mean, Alabama, for everything now, Alabama is not really known to be like a QB factory because the talent that they have playing around that quarterback is actually not as good as a lot of people think they are. But
I mean, case in point, look at the whole Mac Jones experience in New England.
He's been decent, but obviously, Mac Jones, we know now that Mac Jones had the benefit of having some serious talent around him when he was at Alabama.
Oh, he did.
But for all is fair, Jones has been probably right around average in New England.
Yeah.
So,
in the whole Tua thing in Miami, I'm going to make a bold statement about this. If Tua suffers another concussion,
he's done. He's done.
I think he is done. I hate to say it because I like the dude. I like Tua. Okay, I really do. He seems like a great guy. I've rooted for him to succeed. But dude, that really started getting me concerned at the end of last year, where he suffered, what was it, 2 concussions?
2 concussions in about 6 weeks.
Within just a few weeks of each other. Like, man, dude, that's not good.
No, that's never good. That's never good.
And I feel bad for Miami because if that is what happens, which listeners, don't get me wrong, Dolphin fans, don't get me wrong, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope Tua comes back, and I hope that he plays to the level that I think he can, and I hope he blows everybody away. But if it does happen, Miami is going to have to look for another quarterback. And the thing is that in doing that, unless you go and you land somebody in free agency, yeah, it's it, it's going to be a setback for the Dolphins, and and really and honestly, I mean, I'm going to hold my reservations on the QBs in college this year that could potentially be going to the draft next year because I mean, there's nobody in those ranks right now that is really standing out to me. But with that being said, the season has not started yet, and so, but getting back to Bryce Young, as much as I like Tua, I think Bryce Young it could very well be better than Tua. Right now, if you right now, I between Tua and Mac Jones, I think Tua is the better quarterback, and I know that that's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, but yeah, I think Tua is the better quarterback out of him and Mac Jones, and I think Bryce Young is is better than both of them. Carolina, if they play their cards right, drafted their next franchise QB. And I wholeheartedly believe that. And I'm going to tell you this, as as it hurt me to say that because that means that we as Bucs fans are going to have to sit there and deal with this man 2 times every year. And judging by the play that I saw out of him and all that, yeah, that it's gonna be a lot of long years for us facing Carolina, but Carolina has got to build a team around him.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, the games that I've seen of Bryce Young, just the way he command the huddle, his composure in the pocket, understanding when to use his legs and when to run and when to use his legs just to buy time for, other guys to get open. His accuracy throwing the ball. He was the best. He was the best quarterback in the draft. He was the best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah.
And to me, it wasn't even close. I mean,
no.
The kid from Ohio State, what was his name?
C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, he's all right, but Bryce Young was he was the best quarterback in the draft, and Carolina, named him the starter right away. And
well, I mean,
they had to.
But
I mean, you draft a guy, that high in the draft, obviously. But I really think, there's some he's gonna struggle. All rookie quarterbacks.
Well, he doesn't have a team around him yet.
Yeah, all rookie quarterbacks struggle. When they get drafted that high, you're going to a bad team. But I think you're going to see a lot of upside from Bryce Young in this year to know that this is the guy, that we made the right decision. And Carolina, obviously this is a future pick. You're not looking at today with Bryce Young. You're looking at years down the road, with Bryce Young. So Carolina and New Orleans, from a quarterback standpoint, they're in a good spot. Tampa Bay, Atlanta, we'll see. Atlanta is going through their own little quarterback, struggles as well. And I like Trask. I'm not a Gators fan. A lot of people think that I'm a Gators fan because I'm giving Kyle Trask props. I'm not a Gators fan. My team is South Florida Bulls. That's my team. But I'm a football fan, and I watch the game for what it is. And when I talk football, I leave my emotions out of it, and I'm just going sheer off of numbers and tape. And if we want to label the SEC this football mecca as a conference, for every other school that has a good player, every other team, the coaches, the level of talent, from an NFL standpoint that comes out of that conference year after year, then you have to give Kyle Trask credit for what he did at Florida, playing in the SEC, and really doing it, not even coming in as the guy.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't the guy. He was a backup quarterback, and just worked his tail off and waited his time. And then when he got his chance, he didn't look back, and he never from that point forward, he never saw the bench again. So the guy, did good. He performed well in the SEC. Yeah, he had good players around him. What college quarterback that put up good numbers in college don't have good players around him? So I'm tired of hearing that argument. Well, he had so-and-so, and he had this guy, he had that guy. Yep, and so did everybody else. Had really good players around him. You can't put up good numbers with bad players. It's just not even possible. So you can't hold it against Kyle Trask that he had talent around, because you don't want to give this man credit for what he did at Florida, or you're a Gators fan, or you're a Noles fan, or a fan of another team that's rival to Florida, and you just hate to see this man. You don't want to see this man do well because of your allegiance to your colleges, or whatever the case may be. Listen, if Kyle Trask wasn't drafted by the Bucs, somebody else would have drafted him.
Oh, yeah.
That's just somebody else would have drafted him. So we drafted him, and the strategy behind Kyle Trask was perfect. We got Tom Brady, we got Blaine Gabbert. So our plan is to let this kid sit behind Brady and Gabbert, two veteran quarterbacks, develop, work on some things as far as like mechanically, mentally, get sharper, learn from the GOAT, Tom Brady, on how to be a professional, on the field, off the field, and then once Brady is done, we see what we got in him. It's the perfect formula, because us on the show has been saying for years that just because you was drafted high as a quarterback don't mean you necessarily ready to play. So if a guy can benefit from sitting a couple years and then playing, the track record already shows that the majority of the successful quarterbacks in the league weren't even drafted in the first 2 rounds. And they didn't play right away. They sat on the bench, they waited their turn, and then they never looked back. So letting the quarterback develop is, to me, was a smart thing to do. Everybody want to complain about Trask not being the number 2 guy. He didn't have to be the number 2 guy. They didn't want him the number 2 guy. They didn't want him in the uniform. They didn't want him on the field. So to keep him off the field, you just make him inactive. And what does it matter anyway? Because Tom Brady played every single game. So it doesn't matter that he wasn't a number 2 guy. Tom Brady didn't miss a game. So he wouldn't have played anyway. But for y'all feelings, y'all will feel a little bit better if he was a number 2 guy. But at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter because the dude wouldn't have played a single snap because Brady played every single game. Even the games that we lost, he never came out. So Carolina, New Orleans in a good situation. Bucs, Atlanta is a wait and see. Wait and see approach. But, we'll see. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for tonight's show here live, Rat Pack Radio, WRPR. Streaming on the ratpacksports.com and also the Rat Pack Radio WRPR app. We will be back on Wednesday discussing more, I'm sure, on this matter. And, getting into some other sports as well on Wednesday night. So, with that being said, we're going to get out of here for this week. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. And we will see you Wednesday night. Rat Pack Sports Show, man. For myself, appreciate my guy, Mr. William Graves, always coming on the show. Boss Hog showed his face for a couple minutes. And it's always good to see him, hear him on the air. So we'll be back.
Even if he is in the bubble bath.
Yeah, even if he is in the bubble bath with his rubber ducky, it doesn't matter. But that's going to do it for us, man. Again, appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm Devo, my man William Graves, everybody at the Rat Pack. We'll see you Wednesday night. Peace.